Well, let's do a quick roll call while we're here anyways. Just kind of, I'm going to call out some names and everybody just kind of say yay or nay. Allison?
Here.
Bob?
I'm here.
Brian Thomas?
Here.
Joe?
Yes, I'm here.
Lisa?
Here.
Melanie?
Here.
Paul?
Here.
Yvonne?
Here.
Tim?
Here.
We got video streaming. I'm not sure that might be me or something. Vin?
Yep, here.
And then we have Mike on the phone. Can you hear Mike?
Yep.
Yeah. Recording.
Yep. Empty chair.
There's Mike.
I'm here.
He's here.
All right, we're doing the annual meeting first, Jack?
My voice.
Yes.
Yes, annual meeting first, please.
All right, so let's call the meeting to order. Can I get an approval of the minutes of January 15th, 2020? That's supposed to be on this one?
Correct.
So moved, Brian.
Second?
Yvonne.
All in favor?
Second by Yvonne.
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mike says aye.
Aye.
I said hi too.
All right, ratification of all actions taken from April 1 to March 31. Can I get a motion on that?
I got it.
First from Joe Beatrice,
Second?
Second, Brian.
second from Brian Thomas.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Mo
Opposed?
says aye.
So moved.
Aye too.
Affirmation of board members, are there any changes there, Jack, the mayor wants to propose or no?
Nope, we're all good like we are.
All right, can I get a motion to affirm the board members?
Motion, Brian.
Motion by Brian Thomas,
Second,
Second?
Yvonne.
second from Yvonne.
Vote on that quicker, sooner than later, it'd be good.
Yep.
Or we gotta wait for the whole meeting.
Well, we're working as fast as we can.
All in favor?
4 more minutes.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So moved. Assuming there's no old and new business, can I get a motion to adjourn to move to the regular meeting?
Motion, Brian.
Second?
I can't hear that good,
Yep.
Jack, but I think I heard you said motion for the,
Yep,
For the
Brian,
meeting,
Brian
right?
said, had a first. Was there a second?
There you go.
Who was that?
Mike.
Okay,
That Thor?
it does.
All right,
On to the regular meeting.
regular meeting to order. Find it here somewhere.
Minutes for the January 15th and May 4th meetings will be presented at the next meeting.
Okay. Do we have any minutes to approve?
February 19th.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the February 19th meeting minutes?
Yvonne.
Yvonne, first. Second.
Brian, want to second that?
Yeah, second, sorry.
I'll second it too, I don't care.
Brian Thomas, second.
All in favor?
I'm going to go through a quick list of the documents that needed to be, that everybody had reviewed. For the public authority, I'm sorry, Vin, number 3, under
Yep.
action, the procurement policy, the investment policy, the bylaws, the mission statement, operations and accomplishments, and mission and measurement report and assessment of internal controls, all of which were sent to everybody previously.
And this brings us into full compliance with the public authorities law, Jack?
Correct. And just as a quick update, the auditor is going to be, I provided all the, 95% of of the information that the auditor had requested. He is going to come in on the 23rd, next Tuesday, to finalize any other last minute questions that he has. And then I'm looking to have him provide me with a draft of the audit, and I'll provide that to Vin. I will say is the most qualified to review. I don't think that there's going to be any issues. And then to hopefully have a final out to everybody by month's end. So if we can do that, and then with these public authority documents and also the other information that I've put into the Paris system, we should be in compliance without needing to go the extension that was provided by the state. So just trying to keep us off the naughty list, and the state is preferring, the ABO is preferring that everybody comply with the original dates, but if you do need it because of the COVID and just not being able to meet on a timely basis, then you can be granted that, but I try to keep everybody in compliance right from the get-go.
Okay. Perfect. Can I get a motion to approve all the authority documents so we can get them filed?
I got it.
Joe Beatrice first,
Second?
Mike Pezzolino.
Did he really second it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Committee updates, partners. Who's up, Lisa? Paul?
Yep, I'll lead us through. We have provided a memo update to LDC for the May meeting. So these are updates to that memo. You have from the consultant team, Allison, Paul, myself, Bob, and Melanie. And we're going to go right down the agenda. We're going to start with Canal Corporation. We've had a number of phone calls with them, Canal Corp and NIPA, and I'm going to kick it over to Melanie for an update there.
Thanks, Lisa. I'll give the update on Canal Corp. So we did have a meeting, and Canal Corp sent over a revised contract. They had two major changes in the contract, one being that they want to push out occupancy from March 2021 until August 2021. So that's the first issue. The second issue is they want to keep, well, they have to work there, or they have to stay there under an occupancy permit or occupancy agreement. And they're intending on leaving their equipment in the 1933 building, but will remove it with 60 days advance notice from the LDC. And then the third point was the condition of the 1933 building on conveyance. And the technical team over at Canal Corp, I believe, had the call with Paul and maybe Lisa too, to go through some of the conditions in the building and how it would be conveyed. So that has been put into the contract, and it just needs to be internally reviewed before it's agreed upon. So I don't know, Paul, if you want to speak to what that condition of the building is relative to asbestos and mold and I think electrical.
Yeah, I'll just keep it.
There's a table in the memo that I sent right before this call, which has
Oh.
the conditions Adam put together. I think Paul has it though. Yeah, too.
Yeah, I'll just keep it simple. I mean, they're gonna still do the mold abatement, and they'll do asbestos only if they need to do asbestos in conjunction with the mold abatement. The rest of the asbestos, will be left to the LDC, just like any other building they would convey. They will close the spill number and give us documentation. There was a spill that happened in the Halloween storm, and the electrical is, there's really not anything there other than they're going to keep the sump pumps running, and then the electrical service will be moved over from, Canal Corp to the LDC at some point when it's transferred. They'll move the responsibility to pay that electrical, to the LDC. The only thing in calls with them, what we came up with is that they really don't. It would be a lot easier for them, the Canal Corp, on the mold issue if they knew that we were planning to demolish the addition on the back side of the 33 building on the Fairfield side, which was in later addition. And
I can't hear that good, Jack. Oh, it's full of hot air.
I heard that. Yeah. So, yeah. So that was a later addition. It's a wood structure addition. Lisa and I need to confirm that SHPO has no interest in it. We don't think they do. And that would make it easier for Canal Corp. So in good spirits and good partnership, we're going to try to confirm that. We've also talked to MVG, the developer LDC is speaking to, and MVG has no interest in that addition. So that was one thing that came out of discussions with them, is kind of meeting them partway. The rest of the stuff is equipment, just making sure that there's some equipment that might need to be moved later than, and anything that needs to be moved on the equipment will be tagged and logged. So anything that's there that maybe is there after the transfer that will be removed later will have a tag on it from the Canal Corp that says that this is a piece of equipment that will be moved.
Are they starting to work on any more of the canal yet, or are they still?
Now, the cap on the bulkhead walls is complete.
Okay.
So that Tioga, I believe, Paul, is outside of some last minute punch list items, is for all intents and purposes off the site.
Right. So we're doing the punch list items, and we still need a meeting with the owner to go over that. They have a couple claims that we need to resolve. So we need to set up that meeting, by WebEx or whatever, do the punch list. But yes, we're moving towards closing out that contract.
Okay.
Ben, I would just add to, because we have been focusing on the March 2021, and they're now asking to stay there until August 2021.
Yeah.
And under partners, we have Mohawk Valley Garden. If I can skip National Grid for a minute, because they're obviously fine. We spoke with Rob Esch on Monday afternoon, and they're looking to start their design work in the summer of 21 to go to construction 22. So them staying on that site until August doesn't present a problem with Rob's schedule, MVG's schedule. If MVG does have to get on that, and maybe Melanie, you can confirm this, if MVG does need access to the site, they would perhaps have to get a work permit from Canal Corp, and Canal Corp is aware of all of this. So we don't see it as an issue that it's now pushed to August of 21.
Right, and we actually had Canal Corp add that provision to the contract, just so that we were clear that that might occur if he had to get on site.
Okay.
Can't have any more delays, right? They gotta be out of there.
Well,
Right?
they're saying August 2021, but I think, that's their best guess right now based on their relocation plans. And they're willing to put it in the contract.
I can't hear it again.
Sorry.
Okay.
If you can repeat that last sentence.
Oh, just that they were willing to put that August 2021 date into the contract. So, it's somewhat of a commitment from them.
So they have to be out by then.
They were asking the LDC to understand that, to work with them, it's delays that they feel were because of COVID. That, we're hopeful that, we talked about March and June, but it just became unrealistic based on, the COVID situation.
Are we going to take title to that property in the meantime?
Yes. Melanie?
We can start talking about closing as soon as we sign the contract.
Okay. Are we comfortable with that at this point, Paul, with the closing on it? I mean, the wall, any risk with the walls is done? Is the site all cleaned up?
Yeah, as long as we, we go through these items, as long as the mold situation is taken care of and the spill number closed, then yes, we could proceed with, transferring it and then whatever the lease back. It's not a lease back, as Melanie and Bob tell me, but that can start to happen.
When we look at August 2021, is that a firm date or is that they're going to start negotiating from there?
It's as firm as it's going to be, I think. I mean, they're putting it in the contract, so everyone's proceeding with that expectation.
Vin, that's a good question, given, New York State finances and the ability for the state to fund a new facility. Who knows? I think they're probably exasperated themselves and just want to put a date in there and probably have resolved amongst themselves that if we can't get out by then, we'll have to renegotiate. That's probably, in the back room what they decided. I don't know if we'd want to do this, but we maybe put some damages or some rent in there if they don't leave by August. Now, of course, they can't promise to pay that either. So I'm just throwing it out there to the group. My worst case scenario is they'll squat there after August, and it could adversely impact anything we're trying to do. We might have a better chance to remove them if we had contracts that had deliveries contingent on Utica or on the Canal Corp being vacated by then. So if that was the case, we'd be in a stronger position to force them out because we would have real damages. But it's a dance here. I suppose if we throw in damages or rent, not then we're going to introduce months of delay because they'd have to get that approved by their board and more bureaucracy. Or we accept it, recognize that that's what the agreement says, it's an enforceable right, and if we move full speed ahead and actually have a need to have them vacate in August, we would let them know that well in advance, which would push them to get out of there.
So what kind of delay? I mean, if we ask for damages or a clause or something like that, they're not moving till August anyway. So, I mean, why can't we go back and let it stay the way it is, where they're still in there and they're paying all the bills, and so we get some kind of hammer or some sort to use with them. They may ignore it, but at least we got one.
Just to be clear, they're only going to be staying in the two outbuildings. They are vacating for the most part the 1933. They're not using that. They need parking and the two outbuildings. So I don't know how that plays into future plans, but they felt, to me, I got the impression that they felt comfortable with that August date and were willing to put it in the contract.
And let me add to the, I just sent it around to a bunch of people. Canal Corp actually put out an expression of interest for their new facility. It came out on the 9th, and it's due. Actually, I don't see the due date here, but it's due in a few weeks here. So they're looking for a consultant to do the design for that facility. They're moving to Frankfurt. I think that's Block 19. So they're pretty serious, and it looks like their money's committed.
Due date's this Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's see what we can do to get the contract wrapped up then, so. All right, what's next? Yeah, go ahead.
Who's taking on the demolition of the back part? Are we taking on that, or are we pushing that on to MVG?
For the demo of the
Say that again. Sorry, Brian.
What you're thinking in terms of who's the responsibility for the demolition of the back office part? Is that LDC's responsibility, or are we going to push that onto MVG?
Oh, It's a small structure. We were going to try to put it into the CFA, the next CFA, you know, with state dollars.
Okay.
I guess it depends, so there's a bunch of items that we would try to get in the state dollars. And I know this all plays into the sale cost of the property. The more, the LDC does certain things that the developer doesn't do, then then probably the LDC can get more money from the developer on the purchase of the property. And so I think, I think that all gets taken into account in the negotiation of the sales price.
Okay.
Okay. National Grid?
No updates on the substation. There is our main person there retired, Mike, but we have a new contact person and we haven't gotten any updates from them. Although now I'm going to kick it over to Paul because they're looking at trying to put a crane near the bulkhead wall. So Paul, you want to explain that situation?
Yeah, Jack, can you share that?
Yep, let me,
One of those national. Let me see what email it is.
staging area?
Yeah, try that one.
Okay, hang on a second.
There's one with two boxes, the two different locations.
Hang on. Can everyone see that or no?
No.
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 You got to hit share, then pick the right screen.
Okay, hang on a second. Hang on. Sharing application. Web browser. Hang on. Sorry, folks.
Well, Jack's trying to get that up. So they've got they've proposed two different locations. One of them is away from the bulkhead wall. It's on the National Grid side. It's where they launched their boats already. And the other one was near our wall. And the Canal Corp forwarded this information to us that Jack hopefully can display. And we're taking a look at.
Oh, I can't show it because it says that I'm recording, and that's one of the things that blocks me from sharing.
I think I can share mine, Jack.
Yeah, if you can, I apologize and thank you.
Oh, okay.
I just want to say, too, for those on the line, if you move your mouse over to the left-hand side, there's two magnifying glasses, and if you click on the plus one, it'll zoom in. It'll zoom in for you. I'll make it as big as I can, but if it's still too small, you can zoom in also on your end.
So, I said back to Joe Maloney at Canal Corp, I said, can't you just tell National Grid to use option A? And, I don't want to bother with this, being this bar, this crane being near our wall. And Joe said, well, if it wasn't, I said, it's going to be in the way of our road project, basically. And then he said, what if they, they scoot it down towards the other corner? Would that be okay? And I said, well, and then we need to talk to our structural engineers. So I kicked it over to our structural guys, and they're taking a look at what might be a safe distance from the wall. They've asked National Grid to tell them a little bit more about the loads. And, that's where I'm at. That's where we're at. We're waiting for National Grid to give us some more information about the loads. My concern is more than the load near our wall. My concern more is if they drop something on our new cap and chip it or, whatever, aesthetically hurt it where the repair would never look as good as the existing, wall. So,
And if you haven't had a chance to go and look at it, it is very, very nice.
yeah, it came great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we can come back to, I don't know if there's any action we want to do unless you want to tell them no deal on option B whatsoever. We're not entertaining that. Or if we wait till they give us the load information, get information from our structural engineer. I mean, we could basically say, option B, the LDC needs more information to sign off on that.
Yeah, I mean, we want to play nice with them because of, they're going to move their station. So,
Yeah.
I'd rather have them on A, but if they can protect us on B and it helps with what we're trying to accomplish with them, that's fine too. So,
Yep. Okay.
What if we suggest we'll give them option B as long as they give us a permit for all the land we're looking for the recreational area?
Perfect.
That was a semi-joke.
Only semi.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. I'll convey. Yeah, I'll tell Joe that we need more information. The LDC will still entertain it with information from the engineers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Mohawk Valley Garden.
Yeah, we had a good meeting with them. We are, we're starting to lay out obligations for the LDC, Mohawk Valley, and then joint obligations. And right now, we're working with Brian and Jack to get an appraisal of that property. We'd like to have that appraisal done in July. Then we'll get the contracts going to convey the property to them. Hopefully have the contract in place in September. And we'll have to subdivide out the property that we put into the request for expression of interest. It's about 2.79 acres to MVG. Like to do that in September as well. Then my notes. We are currently also on the LDC. We were awarded, or the city was awarded, a grant from Department of State in 2018, I think, for the design of the promenade and the surface treatment and all of that around on the new bulkhead wall. So that's part of the LDC obligation. We are advancing that design right now, and over the next LDC meeting, we should have something to share with you. We really just got started in that effort. Mohawk Valley Gardens is starting to look at designing and starting their design work in the first or second quarter of 2021, finishing their design work in the first quarter of 2022, and really looking to start the construction in the fall of 22. So it's a little ways out, of course, but that's okay because we have all the other moving parts with Canal Corp in terms of getting that property ready for there. Of course, COVID's affected a lot of different things, but they're still committed to moving forward and are excited about the project. So we'll set up another meeting. Paul and our intention last Monday was really just to kind of regroup after kind of almost post-pandemic and talk with Rob. And so what I'll do is refine a milestone schedule, and then I suggest maybe we get the property committee, subcommittee together, and we'll just keep in touch when we get the appraisal back for that property. We'll property subcommittee meeting with them.
Okay. All right. Design engineering, bulkhead wall.
Hey, excuse me for a second. Councilman Beatrice, I have to get. I got to grab another thing with work. Did you hear that? Sorry.
Signing off, Joe.
Do we have any more?
Yes, I have to sign off. I'm sorry.
Do we have any more actions to take, Jack?
No.
No, I have no actions on my part. I'll go to Paul, Lisa, and yourself to see if there's anything out there that.
Nope, we just have updates.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys, but ever since this virus, I'm all over the state. I got to now I got,
Okay, thanks, Joe.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay.
So the bulkhead walls, we're just reporting that they're complete. Yay. Big deal.
Great.
We wanted to share some pictures, but we weren't able to get them in time for today's meeting. But I don't know, Allison, if we want to try to do anything when we can meet in person, or I guess any of you can go down and look at the walls. But apparently they're beautiful.
Allison and I are meeting with the, what is it, UTR tomorrow down there.
WTR tomorrow at 10.
So,
Okay.
So there'll be an interview. So hopefully there'll be some good footage then.
yep,
Is that going to be live or just a recording?
recording.
She'll record. And I was going to see if our photographer can come down at the same time and just try to capture some photos.
I'm sure he would love to do that. Oh,
Yeah.
I was thinking about Paul go, Brian? Maybe Paul Buckley would go.
Yeah, and he's got a drone actually, which would be kind of cool seeing coming in from the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah.
Okay. Although him flying a drone makes me a little nervous, but good.
Right.
It makes me nervous too.
The only unfortunate thing is fortunate, I mean, the weather's been so dry, the water level is way, way down from the average water level, the mean water level. So the entire cap is showing, whereas, and some of the sheet pile is showing. So normally you wouldn't see the sheet pile at all. You would just see the nice concrete wall. So that's the only bummer. You don't really get a feel for what it's going to look like normally, but it still looks great. But that's the water level is definitely, playing with the aesthetics a little bit. So
Maybe Allison, you can make sure the camera's set up so it gets a good angle of the. Yeah.
Well, and that's what we thought. She send her back out like in a couple weeks as well. So some better ones, but.
Okay.
That's and then punch list items that Paul's working through with them, but largely almost 100% finished there. Boat launch security, Paul, you want to go over that temporary?
yeah, we're just trying to keep people out until we get the other project going, the road project going, and we put a temporary fence and along the end of Wells Ave. It's already been tampered with a couple times. We kind of put it back in place. The Tioga has asked the temporary fence subcontractor to go back out and see if they can secure it better. But people keep going in there. Mike Mahoney did notify Utica Police. I did have a conversation with one of the Utica policemen the other day who was on that route, who polices that area, and he was going to make it part of his normal routine. But so we are trying to keep it people out of there. Hopefully we'll get a little bit better secured, but they're tenacious trying to get back there and fish. They really are. And I don't know if we're just not going to keep everybody out, but at least we got the signs up, we got the fencing, we're doing everything we can. In the end, I don't think that's the area for a boat launch because I don't think it's a great area to get people in and out of there because the roundabout's right there. So in the end of the day, when we design the marina, a boat launch would probably be where National Grid has it right now on the other side versus over there. So anyway, we're working through those issues. The fencing I tacked it on to the temporary fence, the 1917 building foundation contract because we want to close the bulkheads. So I didn't want a temporary fence situation, ongoing while we're trying to close this contract. We shouldn't have, all items need to be closed out. In 17 building, we are working through. We thought we'd have a change order before this meeting or a proposal from Tioga before this meeting. Hopefully, the proposal fits into the contingency amount we have. But they're just, when we raise the building up and you can inspect it in detail now, hand over hand underneath in the undercarriage, we found some problems that need to be fixed. We have a plan from our structural engineers of how to fix that. And Tioga has enough information to put a cost together to do that. So, these are the floor beams. These are, there's nothing to do with the new foundation. It's the floor beams of the 17 structure. Some of them are missing. Some of them are crooked. Some of them are rotted. So had to get a detailed plan on how to fix those. DSA one, it really right now we're just trying to get through the wetland permit. We're having a bit of trouble with the Buffalo Core. They have the same thing that happened at Nano Center. They feel that the LDC is not the final developer, and that they're reviewing conceptual level documents, and and that's not what they want to do. They want to review final documents to see if things can be moved around, and et cetera, et cetera. We're working through that with them. We're going to show them that there's maybe 2 different road options, and both of those mean that those wetlands need to go away. And we already preserved the best area of wetlands. So I'll be working with Lisa, working with Steve Eckler to try to get the wetland permit through. We need the wetland permit before we start filling some more, before we start to fill that some more. Simultaneously, we're getting soil samples. We're looking at Sequoia Creek Phase 2 project now to see if that soil will work for us. The Nano Center soils did not work for us because they mixed too much shale in the soils they took off a Nano Center. The shales are a problem because the shales are expandable. We can't use it on our site, because it could screw up parking lots. It could heave and screw up building foundations. So we're looking at another soil source now out in Whitestown for this, the second part of the Sequoia Creek project. So hopefully that soil can be, will meet our criteria and be able to brought over to DSA 1. And that's the last, once we get the soil moved over there and spread out, that's the last of what we need to do under that original grant with the ESD.
Okay.
Okay.
Where's that?
Where's that? Have you got that picture?
I can do it again.
Okay.
You see that?
Yep. So this is out in the streets. It's out to bid. Because it's Department of State monies, that's only a municipality can get those monies. And in the way we wrote the memorandum of understanding with City of Utica, the city finances public infrastructure components, and the LDC finances the site prep activities related to private development. So this fits into the city side. This is the City of Utica project. Obviously, there's one thing about this that this is pretty similar to everything you've seen. I guess I want to mention 2 things. You can see how we're trying to finish off that landscaping that's there now with the plank cut concrete and make it look like a boardwalk. And then the brick pavers and the landscaping, we're finishing that area out, and we're putting crosswalk connections to the other side. That's over here. We've got an entrance being designed into this 33 parcel that MVG is looking at. We have another entrance designed into the Home 2 and Holiday Inn lots that we hope that Visions will want to use because it's a great entrance to utilize there for both access to both those hotels. So that seems like and both their parking lots are level in that area. So I would hope that they would take advantage of that. The roundabout, you can see we didn't put the legs on it because there's 2 different configurations. Obviously the LDC, and I think, our master plan prefers a loop configuration where you put 2 more legs on this. I suppose the developer could come in with just 1 more leg and come up in the middle of the site and do a cul-de-sac or something like that. Less desirable, we believe, but so we didn't want to finish the legs until the developer got in through back here. But that's the one thing we'll do with the Corps of Engineers. We're going to show them the two different options because that's basically what it is, two different options. And both of them impact the wetlands that are over here in a way that they really can't stay. So, but anyway, that's what we did with and that saved us some money not building out these legs. And we don't want to build something that we need to rip out later. So, this,
When's that gonna start, Paul?
probably mid-July. We've got about 8 bidders on this. Well, 8 plan holders. We don't know if all of them were bid. But eight plan holders have picked up. And so this orange thing is a 10-foot trail. So that picks up the 10-foot from our entrance road, from our entrance. And that 10-foot, if you've been down North Genesee Street now, you see the DOT doing all their work there. They're putting this 10-foot sidewalk all the way up and then over the Broad and John Street Bridge and to connect to Whitesboro Street. So that's really the Ray Hill Trail connection that we'll bring into our site and bring it all the way to the roundabout. So that's pretty exciting.
Mhm.
This parking lot here is, right now, asphalt is very cheap. We're hoping we're going to get some good prices given the timing of this. It opened up an opportunity to under budget to do a little bit more. So we put a parking lot in here as an alternative. It's not it can be deleted from the project. It could be awarded, or as an alternative, you can award it, or you might not award it. You might decide not to award it. Again, it's a City of Utica project, but I would think the City of Utica would follow the LDC's recommendation on whether, to consider the price of the alternative, consider the budget, and determine if this lot should go here, if they want it here. One of the criticism, one of the things we got all along, was we got a lot of complaints about not having parking programmed in. This gives us, I think, like 28 spots or something. It's in an area that, we have this line of sight, the line of sight restriction we have from Visions over here. So there's nothing that can be built in their line of sight. So the roundabout and the parking lot are low and able to be seen over them. I think Lisa hates to put parking on the water, but this could be, I think, from Lisa's perspective, to a convertible space for activities, as well. It doesn't have to be just a parking lot. Yeah.
Back on this, because it's waterfront, right? And you don't want to give the cars the best view. We now have, the grant to design the whole promenade and the surface treatment, the lights, benches, banners, etc. And so if this were to come in at a price that seems reasonable, there may be a way that we could design this so that it could be easily converted with like easy up tents or something like that for any type of festival space, and used for parking part of the time, but festivals or gathering, areas, etc. for other times. So
Yeah.
that was my compromise with Paul.
You do need some parking, I think, when marketing the 17 building, which is looking great now that it's all straightened out. There's a lot of room, for, pedestrian. And again, when we do design the marina and the lighting and the features, there's a lot of room for public. It is kind of tucked back here. So it gave us an opportunity, I think that, I would love to see the Visions give back up this other plot over here for parking as well at some point. Maybe there's a deal to be made, but I mean, it still needs some more parking help, for the marina, for the harbor. But so, yeah, I think that's everything. It's a nice little project. It certainly, brings us to the next step. And then, right now we're leaving it, we'll take the temporary fencing and we'll put some more secure fencing at the end of this, because this will be a completed road and probably won't be able to be opened up as soon as it's done. It's going to probably need to be restricted until such time Canal Corp is out of there and we sort out the liabilities associated with better access to the LDC lands and with everything else. So it's going to be built and then restricted access for a little while anyway. So.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Speaking of Visions, Where are we on the Visions property? Anybody
I'll
talk
get
to
it.
me about it?
Yeah, I can jump in on that. So, I just wanted to clarify one thing that Paul said. When you talked about construction of that roundabout, did you say this July, like next month?
Correct.
Okay. So, I guess following along with that, we had been going back and forth with Vision's attorney. He did circulate a revised contract that talked about the height restriction and sight line, and he was pretty clear that he wanted his language in the contract. So we just wanted to confirm that what he presented in that contract is actually what the LDC agreed to. And Lisa, I don't know if you can pull up that figure.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking for it. So yeah, all right, I got it.
So
Yeah, no,
we,
go ahead. I'll bring up my second.
okay. So we just need to make sure that what Rob is asking is actually what the LDC agreed to, and it works for their plans. We did have some concerns. He had mentioned a 6-foot height restriction, and we didn't know if, there were lamp posts that would be in the way or some kind of, road, something having to do with the roadway that would somehow violate that. So I think we just need to work through how that restriction should be worded before we agree to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mel,
so
yeah.
we were
Yeah, go
in
ahead.
blue. If you recall, so this yellow area is the new, what we call new parcel, and Patel intends to purchase this and build a hotel. So they didn't want anything in their line of sight to the water. So we agreed to dedicate an area here, and this is where they don't want anything over 6 feet in height. But we may have I don't think we'll have a traffic light, but light poles and traffic safety devices, I think we have to exempt. But in part of the filling and grading plan that O'Brien and Gear put together, this whole area we're going to set aside for stormwater treatment. But it also is involved with the wetlands. So it's a little complicated that way. But we don't see an issue of trying to restrict the height of structures in that blue area.
Does it matter that he talks about the current grading of the site, like the fact that it wouldn't be 6 feet higher than it is right now? Does that play into the discussion?
Well, the grading doesn't raise it 6 feet, but I mean, I think again, we can clarify that and simply clarify that in the language there, that no new structures above 6 feet except, this does not include fill, does not include light poles or overhead electric or,
Mm-hmm.
I think we can simply put that in there to clarify it.
Okay, and then the one other thing he wanted is for LDC to provide a boundary survey of that restricted area, as well as a legal description. So I don't know if that's something that Delta can do for us, or we want to do. We need
So
to
you
do.
need that before you need that in this purchase agreement
Well, he's adding it as a condition of the purchase agreement so that he can clearly define what the restricted area is with a description and a survey.
Okay, we need this thing really fast. So,
I know.
Okay.
So I think that's the second part of this problem, or this contract issue. First is the fact that we've got a contract that's signed by the city. Patel has not yet signed it due to Rob's comments. So I guess once we clarify the restrictive covenants that he needs and confirm that, maybe we can move past that, get the contract signed. We have a draft contract out to the city for conveyance back to the LDC, but that has its own issue with the roadway and if we want to carve out the roadway or deed it back to the city later. So Paul, I know you and I spoke about that. I don't know if we have to resolve it right now, but
I would say the easiest thing to do is at this point, because I don't think we realized at the time that this is Department of State grant and it's the city of Utica. You're better off constructing that roadway with city of Utica owning that parcel, and then you can convey whatever's left over outside the city right away back to LDC.
okay. So that's important because Kate was thinking she was going to flip it, like literally a minute after the city acquired it, it would be turned back over to LDC. But it sounds like maybe that's not the way to proceed given the road construction.
Right. I get it flipped to DC, you get it flipped to the city and then do the work, and then you're gonna get the road dedicated officially, and then and then take care of the LDC portion.
Okay. So while
Paul?
that,
Yep.
sorry.
Paul, I assume the road is being built to city spec?
Absolutely. Yep. And it was fully reviewed by Gene in the engineering department.
Because that would hold up us taking ownership of it.
Right. No, yeah, engineering department was involved all the way through.
Perfect.
So, Paul, is it possible that while the road is being constructed on city property, we could also address what I believe is a subdivision issue to create the new parcel that will ultimately go to Patel's entity?
Yeah.
Because I don't think we have a description of that yet.
Yeah. So if I'm sending him out there, I'll get them both. We have to, the new parcel, we'll have to determine probably where the city right of way ends. We'll have to make some, we'll figure that out. I guess we can get out there and have them do both. It's just that, we weren't anticipating that, doing that. We clearly, I didn't know there was going to be a delay. So I thought they were just going to attach this, drawing and we'd be fine, that we didn't need a legal boundary.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to go back to him. The first we heard of it was last week. So, I mean, maybe we can put him off on that. He's going to want something though. I guess there's a third part, and that is some sort of letter of intent or some guarantee or assurance that LDC, upon acquiring the balance of the Visions parcel, will convey new parcel to the new Patel entity. So maybe that's just as simple as a letter of intent.
Or well, Melanie, this is Bob. We talked
Yep.
about this too. Of course, the irony there is, remember, we wanted to do that
Yes.
3-party agreement with the city, and we drafted it, and then they didn't want to do that. So now they actually want what we wanted to do 2 years ago. But notwithstanding any of that, wouldn't a purchase sale agreement executed to convey new parcel satisfy that, or should we just do a letter of intent and then deal with that purchase sale agreement later? What do we think is the most efficient thing to do?
Well, I guess it depends on how quickly we have a description of new parcel, and we won't have title to new parcel if the city's holding on to the whole piece while they're building the road.
Could we do like could we draft the purchase sale agreement to be, contingent on city's conveyance of certain properties, somehow
Yep.
described? Yeah.
We could do we could certainly do a draft contract and have placeholders in there or contingencies built in for the final description and contingent upon LDC getting title to that land.
Yeah.
And we already have the form of the contract that we want to use anyway.
I'm just leery, Bob, because of time. We're at the 11th hour now, and
Does the LDC have to take title to the piece that's ultimately going back to Patel?
No, they don't need to take. We need to fill it first. That's the other thing that Halpin hasn't seemed to understand. It can't be conveyed until it's filled. We can't do filling work on private property.
Can you do filling on the city property though? Like, what if the city just retained title? Can they not do that and then just convey the piece directly to Visions from the city, or must it go through LDC?
Well, I thought you were talking about new parcel.
I am.
Well,
Never mind. I forgot about Arctic ice. Okay. I don't have the map in front of me. So no, never mind. I'm okay. I get it.
Okay.
Well, look, I know we're in the 11th hour. I'm just thinking, is it 6 and 1, half dozen the other? Okay, we could draft a very simple letter of intent. Then, of course, we need to go back to the board because we don't have authority to sign a letter of intent. We have authority to sign a purchase sale agreement. Or could Melanie and I could, because we have 90% of a contract drafted, the sale of new parcel to Visions, and we can put in the contingencies here, assuming we attain title from the city. I think we can build that in there, and then all 3 agreements, purchase sale agreements, can get signed at the more or less the same time. Sounds like Visions isn't going to sign the sale agreement to the city until everything's signed here.
I think that's where we ended up, because
Oh, that's exactly where we ended up.
thing that you said that we were going to do was this 3-way thing, and it's not. Everybody's thinking this is like a land swap, and it's not. It is three purchase sale agreements. So I think if if we already have that and we could put the contingencies in for new parcel, I think that would satisfy their, concerns and allows us to move forward.
Yeah. So
Well,
the-
I think if you do a letter of intent, that's just an interim step. But why do that interim step if
don't forget though, the one complicating is if we were going to wait on the LDC to transfer the city to the LDC, there's a portion of 4 that's in parcel 3 that's in the Visions property. So
Right.
you would have to then do the LDC transfer, and then you would need some kind of work agreement, work permit from the LDC for the city would need some kind of work permit from the LDC or whatever to build a roundabout, I guess, or something.
Well, look, I feel bad for the board. They're really watching the sausage being made here. We could probably take this offline with, but I think everybody gets a feeling here, a flavor of what the multiple moving parts.
I think
Melanie had posted some times in her email, Paul. So we owe an email back to her, and why don't we? I mean, I think the LDC members, you can see what we're trying to do here. So we could take it up. And Paul, I'm wondering if we could. We don't have to do the survey. I'm wondering if we could do the line of sight on this drawing, because it would be more accurate than the first one that we did, which was just this.
Well, I'll try to get Rush a surveyor out, but yeah. My gut feeling is a letter of intent is better. I mean, Dominic, after understanding this, he suggested that too. I just think because of the, whatever, it's, the confusion right now with the roundabout being built and it needed to be a city project. I think that's the piece that makes it more complicated, and then waiting for a boundary survey, but whatever. But we'll take it offline.
Okay.
This is Allison. I would just say if there's something that requires board action, if you think that there might be, to alert, because we would have to call a special meeting for that. So it sounds like, Bob, we might need, if it does go for the letter of intent, that would require a board meeting, a board action.
Yeah, we would. So, yes, we would. And understood.
Okay.
I know we've canceled summer meetings. I understood.
Yeah. Yep. So just that we would know, because then Jack would need to notice the meeting and we would need to call it, much like we did in the May meeting.
Gotcha. Okay.
Got it.
Sucoat, where are we there?
So suit coat, we're waiting, I believe, on funding. And then
Correct.
we will move to coordinate with the seller's attorney to set up that closing date. But do we have an idea, Jack, of when that might be? I know you and I have spoken a couple times, but I don't know if anything's changed.
At this point, there's only one person that knows, and that's God.
Okay.
I mean, Paul is doing, being diligent and reaching out to, pardon me, Caitlin. Heather is trying to do what she can here. She's, the consensus on Heather's part, she's worked for the state and stuff in the past, that because of the COVID and just the lack of funding that the state has for this pandemic, that they're just, I think, the feeling is, and I can kind of guess it too, that they're just clutching at anything that they can grab onto that's not a super high priority. So we're, clinched and waiting. That's about all I can do.
Okay.
I am limping along paying interest, which is probably around $15,000 per month between the two. So we're just, I'm kind of stuck. I can't buy anything. I've got a stack of bills. Sorry, Lisa and Paul. I've got a stack of bills, 6 deep from them. I've got other bills to be paying, taxes, etc., water bills. But I'm kind of stuck. I have limited capacity for what I need. So, I mean, as soon as I know, then everybody else will know.
Okay.
Sorry, it's not more rosy.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess the good news there is Caitlin had been in direct communication with MBT and given MBT a level of confidence about the payment. So I think that's good. So I do think it's coming. I think we was hoping it's not a partial payment.
Right.
All right. New parcel?
I think that was intertwined with the visions.
Okay, that's what I was hoping.
Yeah. Right.
Old business, where's they have landscaping maintenance? What's going on with that?
Well, Dave Short was out with us when I was on the site with Brian and Jack and Mike Mahoney, and I think we told him that's nobody's prepared to do that right now unless he did it.
And I'm sure he was happy with that.
Yeah, I think he said he figured that was coming.
Thus why we invited.
Just to update you, the mayor asked me to reach out to Bob DeSanctis from Memorial Landscaping to get a quote from him, which I did, and I'm still waiting for his quote. I asked him for an hourly rate. I think he had been taking care of it before. So.
Okay. So we're gonna get it cleaned up one way or the other, right?
Somehow, yes.
Yeah. Okay, is there anything else?
From us.
Sales and Vin, I would just say, just pointing out, one that you and I are you're doing a media interview tomorrow, so look for that. But also about the next meeting dates that were proposed as normal, to not have the July and August meetings.
Right.
So.
Okay.
And then if there's anything that there's an update in, we sort of now have this process where this LDC update memo follows this agenda. So if we have any updates, we can put that together and get it out to LDC in July or August.
Perfect.
We're gonna need to meet to recommend the award for the Word Save extension, correct?
That's a city award.
You know, it is a city award, but I do think the city's going to want a recommendation from the LDC.
Okay.
So do we need a July meeting then?
The bids come in the 2nd of July.
Can we just do a quick Zoom meeting or WebEx meeting with everybody? We don't need to make it a full board meeting.
Right.
Maybe a 5 or 10 minute one. Maybe Paul, you can get your thoughts on all the bids or lease out to everybody, and then we can have a quick WebEx meeting. Unfortunately, we probably can't do it by email, so.
Yeah. And maybe that would be July 15th, which is our normal meeting date, or would you need that sooner, Paul?
Well, no, sooner the better. I mean, we want to get them started as soon as possible because they have to finish this year.
Oh, once you
if they came in on July.
Once you receive a review, then why don't you just kind of send it out to the primary team, and then I can set something up from there.
Okay, I know that.
Wait for you, and whenever you're in a comfortable position.
Yep. Okay. And I know that's July 4th week or whatever, but
not too many people are going places, so.
Right. I guess the question is, if we could say right now, if you got them in on that Thursday, would you be prepared for that following Wednesday, the 8th of the meeting, and that way we could put it on folks' calendars?
Good point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd probably be prepared. Friday afternoon. Just got to do a bid canvas and Monday. So Friday, Monday is fine too. If we can do Monday, might be better.
Monday, July 6th. Does that work for LDC members on the line?
We'll make it work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say Monday, July 6th. So that way Jack doesn't have to. We don't have to scramble for notices and such.
No, it's a good idea.
Same time.
And we'll make that as the regular meeting, so it won't be a special meeting.
And then we'll probably have. Oh, never mind.
So we'll do 4 o'clock, same time.
Sorry.
At 4 p.m. Monday, July 6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 o'clock.
Okay. Anything else? not, I can't get a motion to adjourn since we don't have a quorum, so thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good night.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.